Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Amanda. How's it going? So in today's video, I'm going to be working on my fiance's Godzilla hat. So he really wanted a Godzilla beanie. And when he first said Godzilla beanie, I was thinking just like a normal beanie with like the little spikes going on the back. But he was like, no, I want a cringe Godzilla beanie. And he drew this out for me. So this is his drawing. This is what we're going for. So we're kind of starting from scratch, but today I think we are just going to start on the base. So I bought this really dark grayish black color for the base. It looks more gray on camera than it is in person. It's more of like a black with like gray streaks in it. So we're gonna use this as the base, and then I also have this really bright blue color for the fins on the back of his head, but we probably will only really get through the base today, unless I decide to make this video making all of it. We'll see. It'll be in multiple days. So let's get started. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is take our dark gray yarn and we are going to create a magic circle. I try to do this slowly to show you how I do it. I just wind it around my fingers to create an X and then hold the string with my ring finger, my pinky finger, stick my hook underneath that little loop and pull it up. And then I go ahead and chain one, and we have our magic circle. I also like to kind of take that extra little string out just so it's like out of the way, and boom, there you have it, a magic circle. Now we're going to chain one and go ahead and put 8 half double crochets into our magic circle. To do a half double crochet, if you haven't done it before, you just yarn over, put the hook into the loop, yarn over again, pull it through, and then pull through 3 loops. We're going to do that 8 times. Once we finish our 8 half double crochets, we're going to pull the smaller string to pull that shut so it's nice and tight. Then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first stitch that we made. It's kind of hard to see with the darker yarn, but try your best to find it and go ahead and slip stitch through that. Next, we're going to go ahead and chain one and then put 2 half double crochets all the way around the circle. So in each and every stitch, we are putting 2 half double crochets. After we finish our first round, we are going to go ahead and slip stitch into that first stitch right there. Now we're going to go ahead and chain one and turn our work, and then insert 2 half double crochets and then 1 half double crochet around the circle. So you'll see here, I go ahead and put 1 and 2 into the first stitch, and then only 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to follow that pattern all the way around. So the next one will have 2 half double crochets, and then the next one will only have 1 half double crochet. So we're going to go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around, and once we finish that round, we are going to slip stitch into our first stitch as usual. And after each of these rows, we are turning our work, chaining one, and then continuing. So I just turned my work, chaining one, and then we are going to put 2 half double crochets into this first stitch, 1 and 2. And then in the next 2 stitches, we are just putting in 1 half double crochet, and we're repeating that all the way around the circle. And then when we reach the end, you guessed it, we are slip stitching into the first stitch. For the next row, we are going to turn our work again, chain one, and then insert 2 half double crochets into our first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And we are repeating that pattern all the way around. So we're going to put 1 and 2 stitches into the first one, and then 1 half double crochet into the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And we're repeating that all the way around the circle. Once we reach the end, we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch. Now we're going to turn our work, chain 1, and then insert 2 half double crochets into our first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So you can kind of see a pattern here. We're increasing the 1 half double crochets with every single row. So I just inserted 2 half double crochets, then I'm going to do 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, 1 into the next, and another, and lastly 1 more. And then we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around the circle. Once we reach the end, as usual, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch. And still following that pattern, we are going to continue by turning our work, chaining 1, inserting 2 half double crochets into the first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the next 5. And you're going to continue this pattern until you hit 8 single half double crochets. So if you're making this for a woman, I would only do 6 because that tends to fit, that fit my head, I guess, if you have like an average head. But if you're making it for a man, I would definitely do 8, just because my man has a big old head, so I had to kind of expand it a little bit. But anyways, once you get to the end of that, you can go ahead and slip stitch into the first stitch as usual, and now you have the crown of your hat. So now we are going to start making the base. And in order to do this, we're going to turn our work, chain 1, and then insert 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way around. And then you are going to go ahead and continue this same pattern up until you hit 20 rows. That was like the perfect size for me, but if you want to make it a little bit so that like the top is kind of saggy or like puckered up, then you can add more rows, but 20 rows was like perfect for a nice snug fit. Make sure to try it on periodically to see how it's coming along. If you need less or more rows, I thought that this looked hilarious, so I had to record it. And then have your beautiful, amazing, awesome, absolutely scrumptious model try it on and make sure that it fits his big old head properly, and it did. Yeehaw. So now we're going to move on to the ear flaps. So from where you left off, you are going to count the 7th stitch and go ahead and put a little stitch marker up in there. And this is where the start of one of your ear flaps is going to be. Then you are going to continue to count around the circle until you hit the 44th stitch. When you hit the 44th stitch, you are going to go ahead and mark that one as well, and that is the other side ear flap. I went ahead and fastened off my yarn here, but honestly, don't do this. Do not listen to me. I'm so dumb, and I didn't realize that I would just have to reattach my yarn later to do the lining, so just don't do that. Just leave that there, but whatever. Anyways, now we're gonna go ahead and slip knot our yarn again onto our hook so that we can reattach the yarn at that little red clip. So what we're gonna do here is start building the ear flaps. So we're gonna go ahead and insert our hook into the first clip and go ahead and attach it. To attach it, I just do a little slip stitch real quick. Then you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to go ahead and put 1 half double crochet into the next 15 stitches. After that, we are going to turn our work, chain 1, and then skip the first stitch, because what we're going to do is we're going to decrease on each side. So then we're going to just we skip that first stitch, and then we're going to half double crochet into the next one, and go ahead and put 1 half double crochet in the next stitches all the way across until you have 2 stitches left. And when we get all the way to the end of this row, we only have 2 stitches left, we are going to make a decrease, which is basically just 2 half double crochets together. Now we are going to repeat that pattern, turn our work, chain 1, and then continue to work the ear flap the exact same way. So we're going to skip the first stitch, insert 1 half double crochet into the second stitch, work our way across, and then decrease at the end. And we're going to repeat that over and over again until we get all the way to only 2 stitches left. Once we're done with the first ear flap, we're going to go ahead and repeat on the other side and fasten off as usual. Make sure to weave in all of your ends just to make things nice and clean, so we don't have this weird little noodle yarn sticking out of the top. Bruh, tell me why trying to thread yarn sometimes is the most like irritating process in the world, especially with nails, girl. Now we're gonna go ahead and reattach our yarn where I literally told you that I fastened off and I wasn't supposed to. So if you fastened off like I did, that's totally fine, just reattach the yarn. But hopefully you were smarter than me and you just left the yarn there so you can continue working with it and just like tie back on, but whatever. Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and just insert 1 half double crochet all the way across the hat. So it's easy with like the front and the back, but with the ear flaps, you kind of have to insert your hook into the side of the stitch. So just be super careful not to like miss anything. But yeah, we're literally just doing 1 half double crochet in each stitch all the way across. And then when we get to the end, we are going to slip stitch into the very first stitch that we made and go ahead and fasten off. Now you're done with the base of your hat. So it's time to start making the little like braids on the side that are hanging off of the ear flaps. So to do this, I took 18 pieces of yarn that were cut about 60 inches long. I'm too lazy to measure, so I just use my wingspan because my wingspan is 60 inches long. And sorry, girl, I was wearing like a really revealing shirt. I had to censor that, my bad. Anyways, then we're gonna break that up into 3 strings each, fold it in half, and then we're using a lark's knot to pull these through. A lark's knot is literally just that knot that you do where you like you'll see it in a sec. When I pull it through with the hook, this was kind of a pain, not gonna lie, but it worked. You pull it up and then you like open up that little loop, stick your fingers through there, and then you're just gonna like grab the thread and bring it through. So that's apparently called a lark's knot. I didn't know that till I googled it. But yeah, you're gonna repeat this so that you have 3 tassels on each ear flap because we're going to braid them in a second. Boom, we have 3 on each ear flap. Excellent. Now we're gonna go ahead and just do a typical old-fashioned braid. So if you don't know how to braid, that's crazy. You should probably learn. this is not the tutorial for you if you don't know how to braid, but anyways, you're literally just putting the right over the middle and then the left over the middle and repeating that all the way down until you have the length of the braid that you want. I honestly didn't measure mine, so I don't know how long mine is. I just kind of eyeballed it. And then once you reach the end, you're going to go ahead and just tie a knot. This again was kind of a pain, but I just kind of was like, screw it, just shove it. I just started shoving it in there, and then it worked. Make sure to pull it nice and tight so that way your braid doesn't come undone. And then I went ahead and just trimmed the ends so it wasn't super messy. Literally just take your scissors and kind of cut it to the length that you like, and repeat the exact same process on the other side. Now it is time for the fins. So I started sketching these out just to kind of get an idea of the different shapes that I wanted so that Eric could see them and tell me what he liked and didn't like. They ended up not looking anything like this, not gonna lie. But yeah, I tried to plan. The planning wasn't great. Anyways, so now for the fins. We're going to take our light blue and our dark gray and start building them. So I very much freehanded these, so I'm only going to do one example and then you could freehand the rest. But for this example, is for a medium-sized fin. I went ahead and chained 10 to start out with. And I just double checked that everything was good. And it was, so then I continued by inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch across. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. Then we're going to insert 2 single crochets into the first stitch and then 1 single crochet into the rest. So what I did was I did 2 single crochets in the first stitch with gray, and then before finishing my second single crochet, I switched to blue. So that way it has a more clean color switch. And then did the remainder of the single crochets with the blue until we hit the end, then we're going to switch back to gray. So like I said, this is kind of confusing, and you could kind of freestyle it because the fins aren't supposed to be perfect. They're just supposed to be kind of, spiky and fun. So you can totally follow this process if you want to, or you can totally ignore me, whatever you want to do. Any whoosies. So when we get to the end, I'm going to put a single crochet, but not finish it. Finish it off with the gray so we can color switch and then insert another 2 gray single crochets into the last stitch. So we're basically just increasing this row. All right, now we're going to turn our work and chain 1, and then we're going to go ahead and put 1 single crochet into the first 2 stitches with gray, switch to blue, and put 1 single crochet in each stitch going along the blue area, and then 1 single crochet in gray in the last stitch. So again, always make sure when you're changing colors that you're doing it at the end of the last color's crochet. You're not, God, that was such a confusing statement. You're switching colors. Oh my God, I give up. All right, then we're going to turn our work again, chain 1, and then put 1 single crochet into the first stitch. And make sure to finish that first single crochet with the blue again. So that way we can continue with the blue. Then we're going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across until you hit the last stitch. And at the last stitch, we are going to just put 1 single crochet with the gray color in there. So we're basically kind of just making a blue fin with a gray outline. Then we are going to turn our work and chain 1 again, and then insert 1 single crochet in gray in the next 2 stitches, and then switch back to blue and continue to single crochet across the row. And then when you reach the last stitch, you're going to go ahead and switch back to gray and insert 2 single crochets into the last stitch. Now we're going to turn our work again and chain 1. Then we are going to do 4 single crochets in gray, so just 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Then we're going to finish our last gray single crochet with blue so that we can continue across the blue part. Then we are going to switch back to gray after doing 3 blue stitches. Single crochet 1 in gray, but we want to make sure, you see that I screwed up here. We want to make sure to finish this one with blue. So that way we can do 3 single crochets of blue, and then guess what? Switch back to gray. Like I said, this is chaotic. This was all just freestyled. You could follow me or you could not follow me. I feel like I'm just confusing everybody, but you know, I don't know. All right, now we are going to turn our work, chain 1, and then put 1 single crochet in the first stitch in gray. Finish that single crochet with the blue. Then we are going to do 2 blue single crochets. So 1 in this next stitch, right there. And then on this second one, we're going to finish with gray to go back to gray yet again. And once we switch back to gray, we are going to go ahead and put 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And now we are not going to switch colors. We're just going to go ahead and slip stitch into that next stitch. So this is where we're starting to kind of create that like texture. Then we are going to turn our work and chain 1 yet again. Now I'm just going to slip stitch across this gray part to get to the blue. So I did 4 slip stitches. Finishing that last slip stitch with blue to make sure that we can have a nice color change. Then we are going to single crochet 2 in blue. Just make sure that on the second single crochet we are ending with gray again, because then we are going to insert 1 single crochet with the gray in the last stitch. And then of course, you guessed it, we're turning our work, chaining 1. Then we are going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch, switch to blue, and then put 1 blue single crochet in the next stitch, and finish this one off with gray. You see me forget for a second and then remember. And then we are going to put in 1 gray single crochet in the next stitch. After we do that, we will chain 1 and turn our work. Then we are going to do 2 gray slip stitches. And after we do that, we can go ahead and fasten off finally. I know that was painful. I know that was so painful. But you can go ahead and just freestyle to make the other 4 or 5 fins, however many you want. You can literally just totally randomize this. It's relatively easy if you're just kind of going with the flow. But I ended up making 5 fins. So I had one really tiny one, a couple medium size, and then like one super big one. Then we're going to use the excess string from those to go ahead and attach them. And you can attach them however you want. I just kind of weaved like from the front and the back, so that way they would stand up straight, because if you're just weaving it on one side, they'll tend to flop over. So you'll see me kind of insert my hook into the fin and then into the beanie. Pull it up. And then I go ahead and insert the needle through to the other side. So that way I could do the same thing on the other side. And this is me just trying to guarantee that they stand up straight and they don't flop over. So you can use whatever method is easiest for you. This is just what I found worked the best. And now you have your beautiful fins attached. Yes, slay. Now we are going to mark out where we want our teeth with some, what do you call those? Stitch markers. I just kind of eyeballed it. And then we are going to go ahead and attach some white yarn to the far right clip to start making our teeth. Once we attach our yarn, we are going to go ahead and put 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So I made my teeth 5 single crochets wide. You can make them bigger or smaller depending on the look that you want. I just felt like 5 looked good. And once we do those 5 single crochets, when we get to the last clip, we take that off. Then we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And then we are going to decrease on each side as we go. So you'll see here, I go ahead and insert yarn over, and then insert to the next one and yarn over, and then pull through those loops to do 2 single crochets together. And then I crocheted 1, and then did another decrease at the end. And we're going to repeat that process all the way until we only have 1 single crochet left. So I just did another decrease, and then I'm going to do, oh, I don't know what the hell. Okay, yeah, and then I did another decrease, or did I? I don't even know what that was. And then 1 last single crochet, and I go ahead and fasten off. After you repeat that for the second tooth, you're going to go ahead and grab some bright yellow yarn, or if you want Godzilla to have green eyes or blue eyes or whatever, you can use whatever color you want. My man wanted bright yellow, so that's what we went with. We're going to go ahead and loop that through a yarn needle. And how I did these eyes was I basically just kind of like sewed in an X formation for a bit to build up the thickness. And then I tried to make them look kind of almond-ish, since that's like what Godzilla's eyes look like. So I honestly should have like measured where I want the eyes. I eyeballed it and I was just like overconfident. Was like, they're gonna be perfectly fine, and started sewing them and didn't think about like if they were even at all. And guess what? They were totally not even. When I tried it on after doing this the first time, I was like, oop, these are uneven. So I ended up ripping it out and redoing it. So definitely don't be me. Actually measure where you want your eyes. Anyways, so then don't forget to tie off in the back. I don't weave in my ends if you can't see them. I'll literally just, see what I'm doing? I just left a little extra, and then I went ahead and just tied a double knot It's so much more secure, and it's easier, and you don't have to worry about weaving in your ends. So just do that, sis. Yeah, and then you just repeat the same process for your other eye. And then I went ahead and added, with some black yarn, some little tiny pupils, because in the picture of Godzilla I was using as a reference, he had little tiny baby pimples. Pimples? What? Little tiny baby pupils in his eyes. And I was like, we gotta add that detail. That's fun. And now you're done. Yay. And then you can give it to your man or woman or yourself or whoever you're making this for and let them act like Godzilla. But yeah, that's the tea. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it was confusing. Subscribe. Hee hee hee. Bye.